somebody something they're not used to, yo. Y'all gotta
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses. Forgive us for our wicked, evil thoughts. Forgive us for all the sins we've done, known and unknown. Forgive us for wicked imaginations. Forgive us for hurting others, whether we've known about it or not. Forgive us as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Give Josh a word, Father God, that will bless us, open up our hearts and our minds, those who are listening online and will listen online. Make our lives and hearts and minds fertile ground that we can receive your word and let it nourish our bodies and our lives. In your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach name I pray. Amen.
Amen. So, so today, again, we're going to be talking about Jeremiah 8. That's what we're getting into. And we're going to start with that, and we're going to keep moving. But the title of this lesson is Nothing New Under the Sun, the Double Fulfillment of Jeremiah 8. We're going to look at Jeremiah 8, and we're going to see what happened then. We're going to see what happened a second time, and where we're going forward. Right? And hopefully, like I said, when you look at this, what you're going to start to understand is that anytime you study the scriptures, there's a reason why Solomon named Shlomo, why he said that what has been before will be again. So what he's telling you is that they literally, like, the same thing keeps happening over and over and over again. So that's the reason why we know that the law ain't done away with, because that'll be something different. You see what I'm saying? There might be a new way to do something, but it's always the same thing. The Most High do, because he's so infinite in his wisdom, he'll do something once, and then he can allow that one thing to just continue to keep going. And it can happen in multiple different ways, but it'll be the exact same thing. You all right, got me? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Oh, hold up. I want to read this for y'all. So we're going to read this. So y'all online, matter of fact, shalom to everybody online, shalom to everybody in Rebirth, shalom to all the other brothers and Hebrew teachers and mores in schools, and all the people that's in the faith. So, we talking about earlier about Pastor Omar Tebow. Pastor Omar Tebow, one of the brothers that be preaching in this congregation, that we the people and letting people know, stuff like that. So anyway, after Trump's, when we did the End of Jew Rusalem last week, so after Trump's declaration, all the Muslim leaders then came together. So they're getting ready. Like I said, it's about to get crazy. So they had a meeting down there in Egypt. And so after they had the meeting in Egypt, and Omar Tebow was teaching his congregation, the Arab leaders sent him a letter to his church, like literally to his church. So that's say two things. One, they watching his videos. Yeah. Some of my people in Egypt and Lebanon and Syria and all these other places coming watching his videos. So that show you how serious what we're doing is, for one. Which means they watching him, they watching all of us. Yeah. Right? So anyway, but this is the statement from the letter that they sent him. I'm reading this off my phone. You probably can see this online, but this is the quote. This is from the Global Guardians of the Al-Aqsa. Al-Aqsa Mosque is the mosque that the Muslims built in Jerusalem, right? It says, Washington cannot broker peace negotiations on behalf of the Palestinian or the Jerusalemite family. Sorry about that, y'all. Shoot, sorry, fellas, I'm in the middle of the call. Middle of the teaching. Hold on a second. Shoot, what's going on now? Alright, read it again. Sorry about that, y'all. But if I can find my doggone. Alright, there you go. So anyway, he go to quote again. This is a quote from the Arab leaders in the Middle East. Washington cannot broker peace negotiations on behalf of the Palestinians and the Jerusalemite family. The 13th Jewish tribe, and what they mean is, it's only 12 tribes. They're telling you they tell you that they ain't the people, right? The 13th Jewish tribe of the European Ashkenazi Khazars, who contrary to Nikki Haley's assertions at the United Nations today, do not carry any biological lineage to the original black and brown 12 tribes of the Hebrew Israelites. This is from the leaders in Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, all them areas that came together, and this is one of the quotes from that meeting. And read it to you again. Peace negotiations on behalf of the Palestinians and Jerusalemite family with the 13th Jewish tribe of European Ashkenazi Khazars, who, contrary to Nikki Haley's assertions at the United Nations today, do not carry any biological lineage to the original black and brown 12 tribes of the Hebrew Israelites, nor can they trace any historical relation to Jerusalem or Palestine.
So they are saying that's what they have is contrary to what she is saying.
Right. They basically telling in this statement.
Yeah.
They're basically saying that they know that the people that's in that land ain't the land, and they know that the real Hebrews are the black peoples. And like I said, they sent this to the brother church who teach people that we the people. So that's the connection. After they had their meeting, they sent him this letter to their church to let them know. And like I said, these are the heads over there in the Middle East. They're like, hey, look, then we know y'all the people.
They are what they call the Kohanim or.
Kohanim? No, they claim. Well, most of those people are Arab and Muslim or Muslim.
Oh, okay.
But but still, because we know that the Muslims, Arabs, and later on the British, and then later on the English conquered. Well, the British and the Romans, the British, and the Ottomans. They all conquered Jerusalem. So every time they conquer Jerusalem, they'll bring their religion, and so they'll convert so many people over to their religion. So that's why you got so many you got so many different people groups there. You got the what they call the Ethiopian Jews. You got the Arab Muslims. You got the what people call Palestinians. And I'm getting to this too deep because we take away from what we're talking about. But if you study the Palestinians, the people that you see on TV that look like Arabs, they're not from Jerusalem at all. They from Turkey. They're Turks. Have you ever heard of the Ottoman Empire in school? Y'all remember the Ottoman Empire?
Yes, yeah.
Right. So the Ottomans were the Muslim Empire, the Caliphate, that rose up after the Crusades. Right. So when the Ottomans came, they took over Jerusalem too. And when they took over Jerusalem, they took over Palestine, and then they stayed there for how long? And then when the British came and took over Palestine, parts of them still stayed there. So the people that look like Arabs, that's because they from Turkey. But if you go to East Jerusalem, you see these brothers that look like us, and they call them Afro-Palestinians. Right. So, but they look exactly like us. Like if they was in this room, you wouldn't know who it was. You can point out the Afro-Palestinian versus the African American. You wouldn't know which one it was. But and if you watch a documentary, if people went over there and interviewed them before, and the guy, his name is what's the dude's name?
Talking about the BET.
The BET video. Yeah, he's still alive. He still live over there. But I forget the guy name. Anyway, but they interview him a lot of times. He one of the top leaders amongst the Afro-Palestinians. But in this video, in our documentary, Hebrew West Africa Revisited, there's an interview with him, and he talked about that. He said our ancestors, they were taken from this land. He's like they were taken down from here into Africa and then to America. Like he said it, and this is the Lord. That was like the 90s.
97.
So anyway, that's because if you go back and study that in Scripture, you will see that every time somebody will conquer Jerusalem and the Israelites get taken, not everybody will get taken. There will always be like a little remnant of Hebrews that will be there. And so, for instance, the Afro-Palestinians are the ones that's left. They was left there when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem, and they stayed there until the time to the Ottoman Turks. And so then when the British and then the Jewish people took it over, they still been there. They basically were the farmers and stuff. So anyway, I just want to throw it out there and just show you how the world, the people that's over there, they know, right? And they trying to let you know that they know, right? So let's get into this. So, as you see right here, it says the double fulfillment of Jeremiah 8. So I know you already got that pulled up, right? So let's go ahead and get into that. I think. All right, Ecclesiastes 1, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. I'm sorry. The thing that has been, it is which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. So he's telling you, whatever's been done before, it's going to happen again, right? So let's look into that. All right, so let's read. First thing we're gonna do is, like, you know, trying to do it this way now. We'll read through the whole chapter. We can go back and we're gonna precept it and we're gonna give you history. Okay? So let's, Brad, you wanna start Jeremiah 8, verse 1?
Yeah. At that time, saith Yahuwah, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Yehuda.
All right, stop right there. Bring out the bones of the kings of who?
Yehuda.
Everybody got that? Remember now, this is the bones of who? Of who?
Yehuda.
So not the kings of Ishkar, not the kings of Gad, not the kings of Zebulun, not the kings of Ephraim, Manasseh, Asher, kings of Yehuda, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
And the bones of his princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem, out of their graves. And they shall spread them before the sun and the moon, and all the host of heaven, whom they have loved, and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered, nor be buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth.
Let's stop right there. So these people, their bones gonna be taken out, and it's gonna be spread before who?
Before the sun,
sun and
the host of
moon,
heaven, basically
and the host of
everybody.
But again, so now this, looking further into this. So what is the sun, moon, and stars?
Like, what do they represent?
If we precept that, what we gonna find? In Scripture?
Jerusalem, the 12 tribes, maybe.
Well, if we looking at in a different way, if we precept like Revelation 12, we'll get that. But if we precept the because this is talking about death, right? As we see, it said their bones being brought out. So you're taking the bones of Yehuda and you're laying them before the sun, moon, and stars. So it's telling you this is a negative. This is something that's evil. So what evil is connected to the sun, moon, and stars?
Babylon.
Babylon, because of the what?
Sun worship.
Sun worship.
worship.
The worship of the sun, moon, and stars. You know that all the religions, all the other religions, no matter where they are, they're based on the worship of the sun, moon, and stars outside of biblical worship in the text, all right, including Christianity. So right here we're seeing that their bones getting taken out and they're getting spread before the sun, moon, and stars. Check this out. It says, of whom they have served, of whom they have walked, of whom they have sought, of whom they have worshipped. So you see how in depth he's going about how they've been connected to this thing. So it's their bones are going to be spread out. All right, let's keep going.
And death shall be chosen rather than life.
That's all right. Now y'all should already be getting precepts for this. Where have you heard that before? Death should be chosen rather than life. Their precepts should already start a wheel starts to turn in your head.
I seen that song before in Revelation, something that I was reading in Revelation. I come across that.
What if I said I'm presenting before you two choices?
Oh, life and
Life
death.
and death.
Okay.
So you starting to get that right, us?
Yeah.
See where this stuff's connected back to? All right, let's keep going.
By all the residue of them that remain of this evil family, which remain in all the places where I have driven them.
Driven them. So right now, Jeremiah, so now we're talking about future. Because right now they're in Jerusalem, right? He says, and all to the places where I've driven them, right? So he's talking about these wicked people who their bones will be spread before the sun, moon, and stars, whom they chose to worship and they adore, and everything that they do is tied up in that, right? And it said they chose death rather than life, right? All right, so we're going to get into that. We'll go back to that. But anyway, let's keep going.
Saith Yahuwah of armies. Moreover, thou shalt say unto them, thus saith Yahuwah, shall they fall and not arise? Shall he turn away and not return?
Now, he's not saying that they won't. He's asking you a question. Like, are they not going to return? Like, in other words, if I say, man, like, Jordan, is he not good? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you know, that kind of thing. He asks you a question. It's almost like being facetious. Right? Let's keep going.
Why then is this people of Jerusalem slitten back by a perpetual backsliding? They hold fast deceit. They refuse to return. I hearkened and heard, but they spake not aright. No man repented him of his wickedness, saying, what have I done? Everyone returned to his course, as the horse rusheth into battle. Yea, the stork in the heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and swallow observe the time of their coming, but my people know not the judgment of Yahuwah.
You notice that? Have y'all ever watched those videos where they talk about how animals know when natural disasters come? They will move and migrate before anybody else does.
Yeah.
Why? Because they observe what the Most High is doing, right? But we don't. We all about what we doing. That's what he's talking about. They all caught up in what they're doing, so they can't see when the judgment is coming upon them. So, like for instance, Jeremiah's prophesying about Babylon, but this is a double fulfillment, right? I'm gonna tell you how specific the double fulfillment is in a minute, but. So in Babylon, they heard the prophets kept coming to them all the time. Jeremiah came to them, Isaiah prophesied it. I think Ezekiel even prophesied it. Or that's maybe Northern Kingdom. But anyway, they all prophesied it. And they came to them and said, "Look, this is going to happen," but they still wouldn't hear it. Just like right now, you're going to people say, "Man, America is going out." They ain't hearing it. They're looking at you like, "Man, you lost your mind." Or you saying anything you come to them prophetically in the scripture, they're not hearing you because they're too caught up in the lifestyle and the worship of the sun, moon, and stars. And again, it goes both ways. Whether you into that ratchet lifestyle, which was created, if you look at the people who are influencing you to live that kind of lifestyle. For instance, people call it Illuminati. You know, I mean that's you can say Illuminati. There's a bunch of different terms you can use for that, for those people who control that kind of stuff. Illuminists, right? So all these symbols are what? Sun symbols, the eye of Ra, the sun, all this other stuff. They're throwing up the pyramid, which is also a symbol that's tied to sun worship. So all go back to sun worship. So within this, you in this clouded mind state, you in this drunken state that you can't decipher when things gonna happen to you. If somebody, like for instance, if somebody is knockout drunk and they lay down on your couch, they don't know what's going on. They don't know when evil coming. They don't know when it's not coming, and they don't care. They don't care. Somebody get high enough, or they depend on what they get high with. I mean, it might get philosophical if it's herb, might be something else. But anyway, depending on how high they get, they ain't worried about nothing, right? But danger could be imminent. Danger could be right next to them. They never gonna see it because they done got drunk. And so all our people have been drunk off that wine of the fornication. Go back to Revelation. Let's keep going.
Let's see. 8. How do ye say, we are wise, and the law of Yahuwah is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it. The pen of the scribes is in vain.
Ain't that what they say? They said law done away with, right?
Yep.
And then what they tell you? In vain he made.
Man made the Bible.
But they say we have the law. They say, but it is law, no matter Torah. We have the teaching.
Yep.
We have the teaching. But see, notice how it's written. It says they have the law, but then they say that his law is in vain. They catch that? Yeah. So what he's saying is that we have the law, we have the Torah, we have a teaching, and that what he's saying is vain. You understand? Let's keep going.
The wise men are ashamed, they are dismayed and taken. Lo, they have rejected the word of Yahuwah, and what wisdom is in them. Therefore I will give their wives unto others, and their fields to them that shall inherit them. For everyone, from the least even unto the greatest, is given to covetousness.
Is that not the case?
Yeah.
Think about everybody, just think about our culture right now. So every single song, if you want to look for one word to describe every single song you're ever going to hear, whether it be hip hop, whether it be R&B, whatever type of song it is, covetousness. I want you. I want a side piece. I want money. I want wealth. I want this. I want that. I'm always just trying to gain whatever I can get to please myself. So that's what the culture is about. That's going back to we talking about the Illuminists. Aleister Crowley. We talked about Aleister Crowley before, right? Have you ever heard of Aleister Crowley? Do some research. You need to know who Aleister Crowley is, man. Aleister Crowley is the greatest Satanist of all time. He's like basically the high priest of Satanism.
Wow.
And he wrote this.
What now?
Aleister Crowley.
Jay-Z.
Who?
Well, Jay-Z, that's how I know him.
Yes, that's one of the Jay-Z mentors, by the way.
Yeah.
Not only Jay-Z, but the Beatles. He was alive during the time of the Beatles, and he was their mentor. And then it's a bunch of other different pop legends and icons. Like they learned basically everything they know from him because he was like their high priest. What you call that? We can get into some deep stuff. We can get out on a rabbit trail with him, but he influenced a lot of people. Even NASA. NASA was influenced by Aleister Crowley. That's the reason why the dude Aleister Crowley had a student. His name was Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons is the one who basically started NASA. Before NASA was NASA, it was the Jet Propulsion Laboratories, or some people said Jet Propulsion Laboratory was code for Jack Parsons Lab. That's how important he was. But He was one of the top dog like physicists, like I mean, well, not physicists, whatever you call it, doing rocketry. He also was Aleister Crowley's #1 student. Him and the dude that started Scientology, L. Hubbard, they were right up under him. They started this thing called Thelema. What does you know what Thelema is? They call it sex magic, and it's deal with worshiping the sun. That's what it all boiled down to. You look at all these symbols and tie back to the sun, and this whole thing was sex magic. So Aleister Crowley spent all his life. Let me get all this by Aleister Crowley with. Aleister Crowley's one of this thing. He call it the dark something. It's like basically this pilgrimage or something like that. He traveled the world and he tried to consume himself for evil. So he wrote about how he would kill, he would sacrifice children, and he would molest children, have sex with them. He would all these different rites and rituals he would do, and it ended up culminating when he went to Cairo, and he said that he did this seance, and he went to this trance and channeled this spirit name that he called Iwas. He said the name Iwas. So Iwas did what they call what you call it, automated writing. Have you ever heard that term? You ever see the movies where somebody get possessed and they just write, and they write like their fingernails fall off and they just that's automated writing. So he went through this trance or whatever, and then he was doing automated writing, and he was possessed with Iwas. And Iwas wrote this book, and the book was, they call it the Satanic Bible. Wow. But the first thing that Iwas taught him was do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. That's the phrase from Iwas, that spirit that's supposed to be stepped through the other dimension and told him what to write. So all the what they call black magicians and warlocks and all that kind of stuff, they go by his books. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, so these are the people that you go looking at popular culture. They pull all that stuff from him. Not only just him, but it's other people. Not only that popular culture, but even the school system. Yeah. Like it's this lady. I'm getting way too deep in this. But anyway, this other lady named Helena Blavatsky. Get a chance to look her up. Helena Blavatsky. Helena Blavatsky is this German lady that was into the society called the Theosophical, not theological, Theosophical Society. All right. So the Theosophical Society is the society where this like Germanic type society that involves all the gods of the Germans and the Romans and the Greeks. And it basically is the same thing. It basically was a type of thelema, and of course all of it based down. It's going to tie into the worship of the sun and sex. It's always going to be that. So anyway, I'm saying that to say, she started a company called Lucifer Trust. Kid you not, real company. It's called Lucifer Trust. It's a book company, and they print books. Matter of fact, I think they even print children books. But Lucifer Trust ended up being changed to Lucius Trust. Now it's called Lucius Trust. But Lucius Trust is one of the printer or something, or like one of the main sponsors for the UN. But that was her company originally called Lucifer Trust. But she got all these writings, and she calls Satan the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. They call him the divine light and all this other stuff. Yeah. Matter of fact, in one of her seances, because she did that whole thing about astral projection and possession and automated writing, she did all that kind of stuff too. When she first came to the Theosophical Society, check this out. This is about her own writings. There was a poster of somebody on the wall. It was Jesus, Caesarea Borgia, right? In the Theosophical Society, because they accept all the quote unquote gods. She said in her testimony that she saw that photo. She said, "I know who that is." And it was like, who it is? So she's like, "No, he appeared to me a couple different times during my seances." Right? And they started his name, but they call him Sananda or something like that. It's like, I think it's Sananda. That's the name they use for him. They got couple different titles for him, because he's also the picture of Caesarea Borgia is worshipped in New Age circles, like in certain religions that tie to like almost like Buddhism and stuff like that. It ain't Buddhism, but it's like almost like a New Age version of that. Mm-hmm. But anyway, but he's worshipped. They call him something Sananda. I can't think what it was, but they were saying it's Sananda, and she was like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "Yeah, because he used to appear to me." Literally, if you see the picture, it's Caesarea Borgia. It's the image that everybody has as Christ. But she said, "Yeah, he used to appear to me in my seances and talk to me and give me." And this, he appears through generations to all the initiates. So this stuff is deep, man. So one day I do a whole teaching on that, but I got way off track. Let's keep going. Side note. So yeah, if you can go look at our video, and Jay-Z got a black shirt on. He got that quote from Aleister Crowley, "His do or die will."
Yeah. Someone put up a picture of Obama. He was wearing that T-shirt.
Yeah. He's Skull and Bones.
Yeah, all the presidents saw.
He's what?
He's Skull and Bones Society.
Obama?
Don't be surprised.
He was handpicked. Obama was handpicked by the Rockefellers.
Yeah.
Well,
It's some guy.
More people, almost as many. The second most people have been in prison and killed from Obama administration. The only people I think that surpassed them was the Clintons. For us black people, struggle for black people, it got worse.
With Obama in there?
Obama did a lot.
More people.
He did most for the gays, didn't he?
Yeah, he was the gay president.
Latino used to,
He was the gay president.
black people don't want to hear that.
No, they're trying to.
I still don't want to hear.
And, but see, the thing is, he's not even a part of us. He's Gentile mixed with Hamite. Like he's a Hamite. He's not even what we consider African American.
Yeah, that's
He's not.
that
He's a
believes
Hamite.
me.
He's an African.
But we are all mixed over here. My grandfather's Irish. My great grandfather's Irish.
We can look at them too and tell what we.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, Obama was Skull and Bones, and he got ties to all them people. That's why he would do. You see videos with him and he throwing up a rock like that with Jay-Z.
And he real close to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah, they be at the White House all the time.
Wow.
Or used to be when he was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let's keep going.
From the prophet even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely. For they have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, Peace, peace, when there is no peace. Were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? Nay, they were not at all ashamed, neither could they have blushed. Therefore shall they fall among them that fall. In the time of their visitation they shall be cast down, saith Yahuwah. I will surely consume them, saith Yahuwah. There shall be no grapes on the vine, no figs on the fig tree, and the leaf shall fade, and the things that I have given them shall pass away from them. Why do we sit still? Assemble yourselves, and let us enter into the fenced cities, and let us be silent there. For Yahuwah our Elohim hath put us to silence, and given us water of the gall to drink, because we have sinned against Yahuwah. We looked for peace, but no good came, and for a time of health, and behold, trouble. The snorting of his horses were heard from Dan. The whole land trembled at the sound of the name of his strong ones.
The snorting of his horses were heard from where?
Dan.
So this is Judah, and it's saying that this judgment was coming from Dan. Am I reading that correctly?
Was her? Who was Dan?
Dan is Judah's brother.
Yeah.
Y'all see that, right? Let's keep going.
The whole land trembled at the sound of the name of his strong ones, for they are come and have devoured the land and all that is in it, the city and those that dwell therein. For behold, I will send serpents, cockroaches among you, which will not be charmed, and they shall bite you, saith Yahuwah. When I would comfort myself against sorrow, my heart is faint in me. Behold the voice of the cry of the daughter of my people, because of them that dwell in a far country.
In a far country. So his people are crying out, and because of the people that's from another place. All right, let's keep going.
Is not Yahuwah in Zion? Is not her king in her? Why have they provoked me to anger with their graven images and with strange vanities? The harvest is past, and the summer is ended, and we are not saved. For the hurt of the daughter of my people am I hurt. I am black, astonished, and have taken hold of me. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered?
All right, so we're going to talk about why the health of his people are not recovered. So we've seen that all this is a prophecy. Sorry about that, y'all. All this is a prophecy about Yehuda. Yehuda and their bones getting pulled out before the sun, moon, and stars. All these bad things happen to them. The Most High is rewarding them for their iniquity because they like to worship idols and participate in wickedness, and they become wicked. They rejected His law. They have their own law that they proclaim as righteous, yet they reject his. And it goes down to a point where this judgment is coming to Yehuda from Dan. Right? Isn't that what we read? Mm-hmm. All right, so let's look into this chapter. All right? Y'all see that pretty good on the screen? All right, Jeremiah 8, verse 1. At that time said Yehuda should bring out the bones of the king of Yehuda and the bones of his princes and the bones of the priests and the bones of the prophet and the bones that they have in Jerusalem out of their graves. Where have you heard about bones being spread out in the grave before?
In Ezekiel 37.
Let's go to Ezekiel 37. You can go ahead and read that. I'm not going to read the whole chapter to save the time. Y'all get the idea?
Oh, sorry, verse 11.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and read that.
Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dried and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts.
All right. So, right here you're seeing, everybody call it the Valley of Dry Bones. So you can go to any kind of church, and eventually they're going to have a sermon on there, right? So somebody tell me about the Valley of Dry Bones.
All they say is bones can live.
It's the house of Israel.
These bones can live.
It represents the house of Israel.
Keep going.
And Ezekiel had a vision, and he saw the bones, and Yahuwah asked him, can these bones live? And Ezekiel answered him and said, only you know these bones can live. And Yahuwah told him to speak to the bones and told him to get up. And when he did, the bones regained their flesh and they began to live. The bones came together and it became a great nation. And then he told them who the bones represented, and it was the children of Israel. And that whole vision represented the redemption and the return of Israel. And I think it ties into the 10 tribes rejoining with the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom being reunited for the first time. Mm-hmm. It goes into that, which is one of the last prophecies of I don't want to say the last prophecy of this world, but it's one of the last prophecies before the Day of Judgment. Mm-hmm. That's one of the major last things to happen is the reunitement of the northern and southern kingdom, which is the 10 tribes of Israel with Judah and
Levi, and Benjamin. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's good. That's pretty much it. So when we're looking at this, what we're seeing is that in Jeremiah, Yehuda is having the same type of prophecy that matches up with Ezekiel. And that whole thing, like you said, it's about the dry bones. The dry bones are people that's dead. They're in graves. That's the context. Like you're in graves. Now, that don't mean literally dead. What that means is that at one point in time, you was a great nation. You was great people. You don't understand how great we were before all of this, right? You hear people like in like conscious circles. They talk about that kind of stuff. You know, black man, you rule the world. You know, it's true. It's true. Like now we under everybody's foot. So saying that to say, you're dead in your graves. You got no power. You're powerless. Anything that has no power is dead, right? You can't do anything. You can't save yourself. You can't get out of your situation. So Ezekiel sees this humongous valley of them. So it shows you how many of them are dead everywhere. There's no hope. There's no power. There's no power. And if you read all the other prophecies that go along with it, they talk about how they hopeless and they ain't got no strength and all this other stuff. And so then he asks Ezekiel, said, "Can these bones live?" And he's like, "Yeah, Lord." And he said, "Prophesy on them." So that's the word. Prophecy is the word, right? As soon as the word goes forth and he breathed on them, then they get life and the bones start coming together. They start coming back together. And then when they stand up, the scripture says it's a exceeding and great army, right? So it shows you how many of us come back. And it parallels other scripture when they talk about how when Israel returned, they're going to outnumber their fathers. It's, you see what I'm saying? They're going to be a remnant, but when they return, they're going to multiply. So anyway, so that's going on that. So I'm just showing you this whole parallel with that, and I'm getting that too deep. But I will say this: one of the reasons why Israel is also considered to be dry bones or dead bodies is because, according to Torah, a dead body is something that you have to separate yourself from. Say it again. Another reason why Israel is considered to be a dead body or dry bones is because a dead body is something that a person is supposed to separate themselves from according to Scripture.
So who is Israel separated from?
The Most High. Most High, their Most High power. That's what Elohim is. Where Elohim means power. We say, the Most High God, the Most High Elohim. That means power. So we separated from our power. So when you separate from your power, you what?
Powerless. Dead. Can't do anything.
So the only way, and again, we looking in Torah. I'll give you one scripture that's like that. It's Numbers 19, verse 13. It says, "Whosoever touches the dead body of any man that's dead, and purifies not himself, defileth the tabernacle of Yah, and shall be cut off from among Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean, and his uncleanness is yet upon him." So what it's saying is, and there's another scripture talk about that too. So once you deal with a dead body, you unclean for so long, you have to go wash yourself. So this is how we are. We this unclean thing. We this dead body. So what we have to do, we have to wash ourselves, right? We have to go through a mikvah or a baptism, cleanse ourselves, so we won't be what? Separated from our Father, right? So for instance, because going back to this, talking about the temple. So you can't go into the temple and serve if you're unclean. Any kind of unclean. Not even just we talking about dead bodies. It can be any kind of uncleanness. I could be that's the reason why there's a host of things. But they don't mean that you're permanently unclean. There's a process you go through while you're unclean to get clean. You see what I'm saying? So but once you do that, then you're eligible to serve, or eligible to be redeemed, eligible to be in the service. All those things. So we have to go through this. We have to go through that same process. We got to another part talk about bringing an offering. You bring an offering, which is yourself, right? You get washed. That's repentance and being baptized, and also being filled. With that got to do with robes. That's a whole other context. But y'all get what I'm saying, right? So let's keep going.
In Ezekiel?
Nah, we can keep moving. All right. So can everybody see this? And I emailed y'all, and I emailed Brad. I hope I did. These images. So verse 2 of Jeremiah 8. Remember, we still in Jeremiah 8. They should be spread before the sun and the moon and all the hosts of heaven, whom they love, whom they have served, and whom they have walked, and whom they have sought. So this is deep. You see how serious he's going into this. He says, you walking after the sun, moon, and stars. You love the sun, moon, and stars, right? You seeking after the sun, moon, and stars, and you worship the sun, moon, and stars. They should not be gathered nor buried, but be dung upon the face of the earth, right? So I want to get ahead of myself. Y'all might even hear some remnants of another scripture in this verse right here. But if you see this right here, the picture to the left, now this is the King James 1611. This is the original King James version. As you see right here, this is a chart these are images that's in the original King James Version Bible. You see right here where it says God sees the what? Sun. Then you got the moon to the left, and I guess it's supposed to be another star or another sun to my left, and then on the right. And then you got Adam and Eve, and to the left there's another diagram of Adam and Eve. And I'm show you what that is. It's the same picture, just the big picture is just a shot of the top part of that, so you can see the sun and the moon and the stars and all that kind of stuff. See the stars down there to the bottom, right up under the other sun, moon, and stars. But what that is Kabbalah. See them circles and stuff? I'm gonna show it to you in a second. But that's Kabbalah. That's what they call the 7 Sephiroth. Those circles. That it's also in Hinduism. They call it the chakras. 7 chakras. Right? But these are these images. What it's showing you is the pagan influence on the Christian religion and how it, like I say, it's a big difference between it being a Messianic Hebrew and being a Christian. It just is. A Christian is something completely different, and I'm prove it. We're going to go through the scriptures. But remember now, he said that their bones are dead because of the worship of the sun, moon, and stars. And we're going to get to some of the things that happen to us by the hands of Christians. Keep going. So then, like I just told you, see right here, That's the 7 Sephiroth from the Kabbalah tree. That's to the left. That's that image that's in the original King James Bible. And I'm showing you some other images from the original King James Bible. It's gonna blow your mind. How like sun symbols, other gods, all that kind of stuff that was drawn into the actual Bible. All right, you're going to be still in Jeremiah 8. Right here, this is this. You see right here, it says the Gospel according to Matthew. Mm-hmm. You see right here in the middle, they try to make that look like a lion. That's a Baphomet.
Yeah. See them horns?
Almost like a goat.
Yeah.
That's a Baphomet. Remember now, it says their bones are spread out. They're not even buried. They just dead. Right? Nobody's not even. You're not even getting enough honor that they're even going to bury your body. You're just dead because your link to that sun, moon, and stars. You can't shake it. This is another, like, I forget what it's a word, and it's got all these little images, and this is how slick they are. They put it in behind images. These, I think right here that's supposed to be down beside this little area right here. I think that's some type of like Seder. That's right here where this woman is dancing naked. That, by the way, that's one of the things when they worship Bacchus. That's what they would do. Women would, which is Christmas. They got a bunch of different names for Bacchus, Saturn, and then later on, they might just call it winter solstice. They got transferred later on to become Christmas. But they would have these parades where women would be naked. They would have children. They would have sex acts with children, pedophilia, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so that's one of the pictures you see. That's what's going on. See, like the dude that's like the satyr that's down there beside her. This is actually in the King James 1611 Bible, right here. This is the genealogies of the Holy Scriptures. See right there in the middle. That's Bacchus. Right there, the sex god with the what looks like whatever it is growing out of his crotch. While he's up on his throne, and you got cupids on either side, and all these are Greek gods.
Cupid. How about you think that was supposed to
be something
good?
That's what you do when you live in Babylon.
Wow.
Right? But then again, this I'm telling you, this is worship of the sun, moon, and stars. And goats at the bottom. If y'all see that, and goats at the bottom.
And this is all the foundation of Christianity.
This is the foundation. This is the King James 1611 Bible.
I used to always think something was wrong with that. Like, you know, when you was in school and you learned Greek mythology.
And it all lined up.
Always tied so close to Christianity.
Exactly. I knew something was wrong with Christianity.
I would try to say, well, they copying Christianity or they blah, blah. But it's like, they
everything
Christian is, I'm telling you.
They join it together.
So anyway, but like I said, so those images again from the original King James. Now we're getting some quotes. Now we're going, because again we paralleling Jeremiah 8 with actual history and precepts, right? So here we go. This is what it says. It's kind of hard to read. When any Jew, if you see that like double L's, that's actually an S, because it's in that old English. These are old quotes. I try to get quotes from the 1800s if I can, 18 and 1700s. When a Jew or any other infidel, now, can you, if you're a true Jew, can you not be a Jew? No, because that's like being black. You can't not be black, right?
Right.
So according right here, because Jews are black, you understand what I'm saying. So it says the Jew or the infidel. So if you're a Jew, you're automatically considered by this writer, this Christian writer, as an infidel. Okay? So here we go. Is willing to embrace the Roman religion. Notice how he said this now. The Roman religion. All right? The solemnity of baptism is put off to Saturday in the Holy Week unless some urgent consideration require great haste. The ceremony is performed in the building called at Rome Baptisterio, joining to the church of Saint John the Lateran. I'm going to look him up. I had a chance to look him up. Where they believe that Constantine the Great was baptized. So if they take one of us, they will take you to where they believe, quote unquote, Constantine was baptized. You had to be baptized there. Literally, what you're doing is you're getting baptized into Constantine. Okay? They believe Constantine the Great was baptized. We saw 6 Turks baptized in that place. They wore a cloak of white damask and a lawn band, whatever that is, and a silver cross hanging about their neck. The cardinal was to officiate being come to the canons of the church. The ceremony begun with the blessing, with blessing the water. It's hard to read Old English. After which, the proselytes, presented by their godfathers, advanced everyone in his turn and declared their desire to be baptized. When they leaned over the front, the cardinal baptized them, pouring water on their heads out of a large silver spoon, and gave them their names. So after they will take you, if you were infidel because you were Jew. Now we got to force baptize you. After we force baptize you, we're going to change your name. So you're no longer whatever your name is, you're going to be whatever we call you. Right? So anyway, wax tapers in their hands were confirmed in the chapel of the baptistry, and from thence they went on to the to mass in the same church. So once you do that, then you got to go straight to mass. So why am I saying this? All right? This is a quote from C.F. Thomas, the Chancellor of the Cardinal of Gibbons in 1895. Of course, the Catholic Church claims that the change was her act. Now, when it says the change, it's talking about the Sabbath. It's talking about the Sabbath. This is his quote. Of course, the Catholic Church claims that the change was her act, and the act is a mark of her ecclesiastical power and authority in religious matters. So he's telling you that Sunday worship was their mark of their authority. You understand what I'm saying? It is the mark of their authority. This is the reason why when they baptize people, they pour it on your head or your forehead. The mark of their authority. You come under their authority. This is why they did it by death. I'm going to show you some examples where they would do it by death. If you didn't convert over to doing what they're doing. Why is all this relevant? Because remember, Judah's what? Bones. They're dead, right? They're spiritually dead, and at this point, what I'm going to show you, they were physically dead. Not all of them, but I mean, like they was being murdered. You understand what I'm saying? So let's move a little bit faster. Give you another quote. Now, I gotta. Next time I'll give you the actual name of these books. But these books are from the 1900s. No, this was the early 1900s. Other one for 1800s. Piercings and shrieks and anguish filled the land. Childless and brokenhearted, they now sought to leave the land. But they were told that they had forfeited their right, and they were given the choice of either between baptism and what?
Slavery.
Thousands, after enduring all they did after leaving the beloved Spain with all their wealth and ease, submitted to baptism now in hope of being reunited with their children. Thousands were sold as slaves. It was real fast. Yet prior to being sold, they were submitted to tortures, cruelties, outrages, too revolting to be repulsive, too heartrending to be narrated. Terror seized upon the native Portuguese Jews. The reason I'm talking about Portuguese, because that was us too. They were actually sold as slaves in Africa. They took to Africa and sold as slaves. Terror seized upon the Portuguese Jews, where they helplessly beheld the cruelties to which their Spanish brethren were subjected. They knew they themselves could not escape the wrath of the church much longer. And they thought of flight. But when they had well been with them, that they had made their escape then, while they were making secret preparations, King John died. Now I got this quote that I read to y'all before about King John tells you, with all the expulsions of the Hebrews from all of Europe when they brought them to Africa. I read that to y'all before, but I can get into that right now. When King John died in 1495, and it's King John's map maker who wrote them quotes, right? He had been afflicted on the very day when those ships laden with Jewish exiled children set their sail for the Isle of condemned criminals. You were a criminal if you didn't embrace the Roman religion. So, because now we so many generations later, because our ancestors was forced to do this, now it become natural.
Right.
It's become part of our nature. So we can't shake it. We love it now. Right? Anyway, condemned criminals and strange, painful melee we had lingered ever since. Here we go. Was colonized by the Portuguese condemned criminals. To fare well as best they could. Between 10 and 14 years old was sold as slaves. Then indeed the cup of their affliction was full to the brim, and it was stern truth that Linnell uttered. This is his quote. This dude named Linnell. I ain't reading that or whatever that language is and give you that English. The Jews have experienced the full unequaled skill of the church in administrating pain. Mothers cast themselves at the feet of tyrants and pitifully begged to be taken from their babies to their heartlessly thrust aside. Hundreds of mothers with despair ran behind the ships they carried off their idols of their heart and perished in the waves. In other words, they died trying to go get their children off them ships. The serene fortitude where the exiled people had born so many. Not bad. Creed woke again. This not in sequence. Anyway, Creed awoke again simultaneously with the awakening of his greed. He issued an edict which threw even that of Torquemada. This is talking about King John. I should have explained this. King John not King John, but the person after King John was like, we're gonna take it easy on the Jews a little bit. He's gonna take it easy. Then he married this European woman. When he married this European woman, she's like, I want all the Jews dead or out the country. So he listened to her, and then he like forwarded, he like expedited it. But anyway, even that I took him out into the shade. All Jewish children below 14 years of age, there you go, were torn from their parents, dragged to the arms of a church, baptized. Those under 3 years of age were given to Christians to receive a Christian education. Or in other words, be raised as slaves. Those between 3 and 10 years of age were put on board of a ship and convened into the newly discovered unwholesome island of St. Tomé. And listen what they called it back then. Ahalas Perdias, the Isle of Perdition. The word perdition means destruction. The Isle of Destruction. Alright? Which was colonized by the Portuguese, condemned criminals. Again, we criminals. The farewell as best they could. Those between the ages of 14 years were sold as slaves. That's what they quote again. Then indeed the cup of their affliction was full to the brim, and it was a stern truth that Linnell uttered when he said that. So let's keep going. So the Roman religion, remember he said that you were forced to accept the Roman religion by death, right? Going back to these dry bones, these dead people that are lying before what? The sun, the moon, and the stars. Roman Catholicism is the worship of the sun, the moon, and the stars. And so all our people are laid dead and dormant up under this religion, right? Arthur Wiggle, the paganism, this is quotes from Catholics and stuff. Paganism, not Christianity. This is book. New York Putnam, Sons in 1928. The church has made a sacred day of Sunday, largely because it was the weekly festival of the sun. Say it again. Largely because it was the weekly festival of the sun. For it was a definite Christian policy to take over the pagan festivals. You heard I just say it. So now we're going into Christmas. I talk to people about celebrating Christmas. They're going to look at you and say, well, you know, I know they do that for that, but we taking it, we doing it for this. You heard that?
Yeah.
Right? According to, now, I'll give you the scripture. We'll talk about put a difference between the holy and the profane. We talk about how you can't take things from pagan worship and then give it to the Most High.
That's right.
It's impossible. Right? Matter of fact, those people who died in the scriptures because they did that. It's Aaron's sons. They did that. They said like, hey, look, everybody make an offering. I'm gonna make an offering. So they decided to go make the offering their own way, and the Most High sent down fire and killed both of them immediately. Yeah. And then they asked Aaron about it. Aaron was like, I'm paraphrasing. He's the Most High. Like, what you gonna do? Because they know better. They knew not to do this.
Yeah, because Aaron, the scripture said that God talked to Aaron to talk to them about it, and then, but he said, scripture said that they're not gonna listen because God is gonna kill them, and they're not gonna listen to their father. So they didn't listen to him, and he killed them. But they were disobedient. It said they were oppressing the people, going to them, and getting these offerings, you know, more than what they should have. And then the people even know better, but the people couldn't rule over them.
Right.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I got to say, why don't I have to say? Anyway, the church made a sacred day of Sunday largely because it was a weekly festival of the sun. It was definitely Christian policy to take over the pagan festivals, endear to the people of the tradition, and give them a Christian significance. So it would take all these things, all the things from the worship of the sun, the moon, and the stars, turn it into Christianity, and then give it to you. Now, how's that? What's going to do with us? It's going to keep us in curses. So anyway, Catholic American Sentinel, here we go. Sunday in this law, there's another quote. This is from June 1893. Sunday in this law of the Catholic Church, my bad. Sunday is the law of the Catholic Church alone. In other words, that Sunday came in just because of them. American Catholic Quarterly Review, this is January 1883. Sunday is purely the creation of the Catholic Church. Now again, we can show people these quotes and they'll be like, well, I don't believe that's a big deal. This is the reason why it's a big deal. Now remember, Jeremiah said what? He says that when he saw us, he saw Judah specifically, that there was bones lied out before the sun, moon, and stars. Was right, they got the sun on Sunday best because it's Sunday. Right? Dead. So what happened? What's going on in churches right now?
Crazy stuff.
A lot of it's homosexuality. You can't go to no church without having now it's a running joke because the praise and worship leader most times is a homosexual, or the pastor's a homosexual, or the pastor's on the down low. or some kind of wickedness is going on in the church. So to the point, people don't even want to believe the Bible no more. You see what I'm saying? People are tired of people don't want to hear anything about the Bible because all the wickedness is going on in church because it was built on a wicked foundation. Tyler Perry dresses up like a woman, and you can't tell me that Tyler Perry ain't gay. I'm sorry. He loves dressing like a woman too much.
Notice you ain't heard no more about his alleged child or his fiance.
It's like a we learned in art class. It's like a rug made. Bunch of people that died of AIDS, I think.
Right.
He supported. He the one that paid for it every month. Tyler Perry. It's like a big rug. It's big. And they put like all the people that died, like all the gays that died of AIDS, so they get a quilt made for them. And he the one that he stored and make sure it's paid for and well kept all that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And see what? You laying hands on TD Jakes.
Yeah, what how
So about
started?
TD Jakes.
What pastor in his right mind is
Man.
a cross-dresser come to his church, stand in front of his whole congregation and lay hands on him?
But he's not a pastor, is he?
No, he was.
To my
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry.
No.
And this TD is supposed to be not just pastor, but bishop.
Supposedly supposed to be bishop. Yeah. He all falling out.
Yeah.
And he letting again.
That $1 million offer.
Well, they both have the same spirit, allegedly.
They have the same spirit. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's the spirit of Babylon.
But
That's what the church is.
Keeps our people in bondage because they are looking at this big name, famous person doing all these acts, and they will say, "Well, T.D. Jakes did it. Well, Tyler Perry, and it's keep on." But that cannot value. They can't validate our Christian, our spiritual life. Because it's not given to them to do that.
No.
And when I think about that verse in Matthew where it talks about, many will say, Lord, I've done all these things in your name.
Right.
That's all I can think about now is these people who consider themselves to be Christian.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I can think about. It's going to be those are the ones who are going to be saying those things.
Right.
Well, you see what this president did, Paula White. She said he did not say. He said Paula White said he is a Christian. He is a Christian, as if she can validate this. But this man said, I've never done anything to God to apologize for. Just like we were reading, that was the first thing came to my mind when we were this. He said, I've never done anything to apologize to God for. And it's like that election in Alabama down there. That man was, it's too much evidence that he was preying on those young girls. But the thing of it is they always talk about God, but they never talk about repentance.
Well,
They never talk about repentance.
what I'm hoping is, because what most are doing is, he hardened Pharaoh's heart, so Israel wake up.
Yeah.
Made things worse, so they wake up. So you would think that Israel would stop and be like, cause everybody that's doing this stuff, you talking about him, Aurora Moore, you talking about Donald Trump, you talking about basically all these people, they are quote unquote Christians. So all these people that's running around with all this hate and they hate in their mouth and starting up all this other stuff, all people consider themselves to be Christian. So you got to ask yourself, what is a Christian? You think everybody would stop and be like, what exactly is a Christian? If this is what it is, because that's one of the things, realization I came to a long time ago. I was like, we don't serve the same. This ain't the same God. We don't serve the same God. I like, you know what I'm saying? But if you can come to that, if you can be honest with yourself and allow yourself to even think that, then you can start coming out of that deception. But if you don't do that, and if you actually stop and realize, because like I say,
because people want to fight over the term.
right.
People, they Christianity ain't mine, but it's like, but both of y'all consider yourselves that.
But
And
didn't
the only
you tell
time
us
you can come together and agree on something is in church.
they said two kinds of Christians: the carnal mind, which
They
is
all
enmity against God.
That's
and
what
then
Paula White, she
there's-
very big on that.
Yeah, but there is that woman where her dress is too short. I could never
Look, if you claim to be
I love
Christians,
Paula White.
if you're a Christian, oh yeah, I can stand Paula White.
Well, now now
Yeah.
the truth. Weed, I love Paula White.
I used to listen to him too.
Well, you could. Some of the things sound pretty good, but I could never.
But even now that I think
clutch
back
on
to the
her.
stuff that she said, all of us gonna send everybody to hell. And even when I was a Christian, I said, okay, now this is true Christianity at its core. It was real in my mind. Thing is real spiritual.
Yeah.
She's not about religion and religious stuff. But that's why I say now, and I know my mom don't like when I say it. Everything about Christianity is wrong.
Just do what thou will.
It's wrong. I mean, there's no way.
I just can't say everything.
I ain't gonna say everything. Like some of them, I think some of them have good intentions. I think,
But
Let's sum it up like this. Okay, so we're not talking about individuals. What we're talking about is the religion.
The religion and the doctrine.
Christianity.
The religion and the doctrines. Well, let me add an S on there, the doctrines. Because even the best, because I consider Paula White to be the top-notch Christian. And even when I look back on on her teachings, it's all wrong. She's going to lead her whole flock.
Well, this is the thing you got to realize too. Anytime Christianity is rolling, so it comes to black people. No matter what issue it is, it could be dominoes. It don't matter what it is. If it's regarding black people and Christianity, Christians gonna be on the opposite side of it.
Yeah.
Everything.
Her whole congregation was black.
Right. And
Whole
then
congregation.
Well, you know
people,
whose congregation she got?
TDJ.
No, not TJ. That guy that died of that drug overdose down there in Florida. Young, pretty handsome guy. You know, he kind of looked like Clarence, but no, not my son Clarence. Clarence McClendon. He sort of favored, but he was a more handsome man than Clarence McClendon. But he died, you know, of that drug overdose. He kept doing those things for that prostitute, and they did in a hotel. But somehow the family let her take him.
I got you. Well, we only got 20 something minutes. Let me try to wrap this up. We got some meat we gotta get to. We ain't got to the meat yet. But so anyway, real quick, again, talking about the sun, moon, and stars, and I've shown you how we just saw the homosexual influences in the church right now. You see this right here. That's in Babylon. That's Egypt. That's Rome. It's passed on. Those are the three things that Scripture talk about this captivity as being. Rome. We don't say the word Rome, but you know it's the Roman Empire is the fourth beast. And then Egypt, of course, we know we call it spiritual Egypt, and Babylon, which is the daughter of Babylon. Those are the three things. So you put all those different practices, you go and you see these things in church. You see the same symbols. Matter of fact, you're seeing pastors now wearing ox. You're seeing pastors wearing ox now.
Wow.
Oh, you ain't seen that? No, it's a pastor in Florida. That's his whole platform now.
Wow.
Yeah, he went ox. Because that's what it really is. That's what it really is. So anyway, let's keep going. All right, so we finally got to the third verse. All right. And death should be chosen rather than life by all the residue that remain of this evil family, which remain in the places where I've driven them. So he's saying that they're going to be driven into all the different places, and they choosing death rather than life. That's the reason why. Let me just read it, so it's talking too much. Deuteronomy 30, verse 16 through 19. And that I command thee this day to love Yahuwah thy Elohim, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgment, that thou mayest live. That thou mayest live. Now we're talking about them right now in this chapter being what? Dead. Right? That thou mayest live and multiply. And Yahuwah thy Elohim shall bless thee in the land which thou shalt go. But if thou turn away, so that thou will not hear, but thou be drawn away and worship other gods. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're doing right now. We don't realize it, but that's what we're doing. Serving them, I denounce unto you this day that you should surely perish. That means die. Go back to the bones. You should surely perish, and that you should not prolong your days upon the land, whether you should go over to join and possess it. And I've called heaven and earth to record this against you this day, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. So this is the reason why he told me, he says, this day, the Deuteronomy 28, all the different the law, statutes, commandments, all that kind of stuff. He's telling you, if you choose these things, you're choosing life. If you don't choose these things, you're choosing death. So now we in the religion, every single Christian religion, no matter what, I don't care if you go Seventh-day Adventist, matter of fact, we had a conversation with them. You go Seventh-day Adventist, you go Pentecostal, you go Baptist, you go Presbyterian, you go Episcopalian. No matter where you're going, they're going to all tell you that the law's done away with. That's what they're going to tell you. So all of us in these religions, we in the Christian faith for the 40,000 different denominations, each one of you is telling you that the law is done away with. Don't keep the law. But according to the covenant of your fathers, if you don't keep the law, you're going to be dead. You understand the correlation? So this is the reason why they're able to rule over you. They rule over you because you reject the commandments. You're in a perpetual state of cursing. If you, I didn't put a slide in here, but if you know anything about transatlantic slave trade, the Arabs, they would kidnap us because it was the Arabs. The three parties was four parties really, but the main three parties that was foreigners were the Europeans, the Ashkenazi Jews, and the Arabs. And so the Arabs would capture us. They was capturing us before the Europeans started buying us. And the Arabs call us the Yahudi. So when the Arabs would sell us to the other nations, they would say, these people, they curse from their God. They would tell them that. They are cursed of their God. That's the reason why they know they was able to do everything that they did to you. Hopefully, if I can get to this last part of this teaching, I can show you some other stuff of that happening again. When we was in West Africa, people were shocked, like, how is this even possible? Nobody like, how are these things happening to them? Nobody can figure it out. Because it's these curses. Because our ancestors, they got a contract with Elohim. They got a contract with the Most High. And he's saying that if you do these things, I'm going to get you. You're going to be good. But if you don't, you're going to be cursed and they're going to kill you. You're going to die. So now we all in a religion that tell us to don't do that so you can remain dead. So that's the reason why they want you to be in Christianity. They want you to be of all things. Why do you think, we just read them quotes, why do you think they was forcing us to be baptized? Right? And when I say baptized, I'm not talking about biblical baptism. They ain't want to talk about it. But they talking about this Roman Catholic baptism. They pour some water on your head and then you become a Roman Catholic. They ain't talking about true baptism, like biblical Hebrew baptism. But they was pushing for you to be in this religion because that's the only way they can control you. That's what they fearing now. That's the reason why they got this thing now. They call it black identity extremists. It's because they got scared of it. Because they don't want you to go back to that because they know what the scriptures say about you. We proved that with that quote we read before we even got to this teaching from the Court of all the Arabs. They know, like, man, the black and brown Hebrew Israelites, they know it's you. So anyway, let's keep going. Jeremiah 8:16. Now here we go. That's what I want to get to. The snorting of his horses was heard from where?
Dan.
And the whole land trembled at the sound of the neighing of his strong ones, for they are come. And he devoured the land and all that's in it, and the city and those that dwell therein. So remember, at first, now this is all about who?
It's Judah.
Judah. Okay. So this prophecy about Judah, and Judah's gonna be they bones gonna be scattered and all this other stuff, and then up under the sun, moon, and stars, they're gonna be cursed because they reject the law. And then he says he hears this snorting, or like this war that's coming from the land of Dan, right? And then when they do, they destroy the city. Now, we know there's the first fulfillment of that. The first fulfillment of that is Jerusalem. During the time the Babylonians took it over. Because Jeremiah was prophesying about the Babylonians. So the Babylonians came down, they destroyed the city, they killed Yehuda, took Yehuda into to be slaves, all that kind of stuff, right? We know the story. So, and after they went to Babylon, they came back into the land, and not so long after that was Mashiach came. He was born, all that kind of stuff. But before then, they was took as slaves to Babylon, right? Mm-hmm. Okay? That was the first fulfillment. I'm about to give you the second fulfillment of this. All right, y'all ready? This is a quote from a book from, again, 1700s. All right? A new account of some parts of Guinea and the slave trade in 1734 by William Snellgrave. Check this out. Containing an account of the destruction of the kingdom of Ouida, or Fida. Anybody know what it is? That's the slave coast in West Africa. The slave coast of West Africa by the French was called Ouida and Fida, but the word is Judah. To this day, you can go to West Africa. You can go around, I guess it's near Benin and Togo. There's an area over there that was the slave coast, and there's a big memorial of there for our ancestors. It's a big gate with all these people in chains, all that kind of stuff. It's a memorial to us being sold in slavery. That place in their language is called Ouida. That's in French. You know, the French and Portuguese came there and took over that land. Mm-hmm. The local people call it Judah, which is Judah. To this day, it's still called Judah. Okay, so here we go. Containing the account of the destruction of the kingdom of Ouida, or Fida, or Judah, the author's journey of the kingdom of Dahomey. So these are two words. Remember, we just talked about Judah and Dan, right? It says that the judgment or the destruction that's coming for Judah is coming through Dan. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what we just read? Mm-hmm. Right here, we're talking about the slave trade. And it says Ouida, which the city called Judah, and its destruction from a place called Dahomey.
Home of Dan.
All right? For better understanding of the retaliation, it's necessarily the prefix, some of the late state of the county of Ouida, or Judah, before the terrible destruction and desolation thereof in the month of March 1726. Now let's get into it real fast. So first you got to know what those names are. You see right here, this is a map of West Africa. You see where it says Ouiddah? Y'all see that? That's the French word for Judah. That's what it is. Right above it, you see Dahomey. Dahomey. Okay? And it goes all the way up, see the Ashanti. Then right up down above that, you see Ga. See that? Then it says Fante, and it says Alima. So this is it says slave coast. Mm-hmm. And then right, you can see right there it says Gold Coast and it says Ivory Coast, okay? So, I'm gonna give you the context. So the people that live in the Ashanti and the Ga and the Home are called one term, Gadangwe. Gadangwe. You go over there right there, you say Gadangwe, they're gonna know who you're talking about. The Gadangwe people. That's people from and that whole coast right there. Gadangwe. Okay? The Gadangwe is a word, it's 3 parts. Ga means Gad. Da means Dan. Game means the people. So Gadangwe means the people of Gad and Dan. That's what it means. Okay? So anyway, y'all see that it's pretty simple. Dahomey means the home of Dan. Matter of fact, if you go look at the original Hebrew pronunciation, it's not Dan, that's English, it's Da. So Dahomey means the home of Dan. We still say that to this day. That's my homie. Right? That's this person that I grew up in my hometown or my neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? Home. So Dahomey means the home of Dan. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, let's keep going. So give me this context. So there was a war that you ain't never heard of. They ain't never taught you no history books. They ain't gonna tell you in the history books. It was the war between Dan and Judah in West Africa on the slave coast. Let's talk about it. So again, let's first we're gonna talk about the tribe of Dan. I just told you the tribe of Dan is the area of Dahomey. That's what it means, the home of Dan. Right? So anyway, see these guys right here? That's the Ninamishan. The Ninamishan, what it means is the mothers. They're one of the fiercest warrior tribes that ever existed. Matter of fact, when the Europeans came to West Africa, they called them the Amazons of Dahomey. When I say Amazon, you know what I mean? You watch Wonder Woman, the Amazons, the woman warrior tribe that cannot be stopped. They're the most deadly one of the deadliest fighting forces in the world, and mainly what they did, what it was known for, chop people's heads off. Wow. All right. There's a movie coming out pretty soon. We'll talk about that. But let me read you this. The sub-Saharan band of female terminators who left their European colonizers shaking their head, shaking in their boots. The foreign observers named them the Dahomey Amazons, as they were called, or the Amazons of Dan. Right? Themselves, they call themselves Ninamishan, which means our mothers. Protecting the king from the bloodiest of the battlefields, they emerged as an elite fighting force in the kingdom of Dahomey in the present-day Republic of Benin, described as untouchable, sworn in as virgins. Swift decapitation was their trademark. So they walk around with machetes, and they will come through and chop your head off before you even realize it. But anyway, this was like one of the warrior bands that was in the tribe of Dan, mainly the Ninamishans, who everybody knew about. These women they pledged abstinence, and they wouldn't get married. So their entire life will be about fighting, basically being a warrior in the home men. So you had the men that was warriors too. But these women was crazy and fearless. And at that time, Dahomey was like it was a killing machine. They was going through places and just wiping them out. Okay, let's keep going. So right, you ever heard the movie Black Panther that's come out? Everybody knows, right? So if you watch Black Panther, it's these women that's with him. They call them the Dora Milaje. That's what they based them off of. They based them off of the Ninamishans, the women, the warrior tribe of Dan in West Africa, the girls. And again, Black Panther, and this is kind of equivalent because we started watching Idol Guys. and the Panther is the king. And he's a warrior. Of course, he passed it down through his generations or whatever. He's a warrior king. But these women are the baddest warriors in the world. So anyway, Dora Milaje, it means the adored ones, right? But Ninamishans means our mothers. But they weren't allowed to be mothers until they finished their tours as warriors first. So just give you that whole context about how dangerous the tribe of Dan was in West Africa when they started taking over them territories, right? So right beside, like I just showed you, right beside of that map, you had Dahomey, and right beside that you had Ueda or Judah. So they were next door neighbors. Okay? Right here, you see right here? Cité historique de Ueda, history of Judah. That's what that means. City's still there to this day. You can go visit it, go look, check it out. Got memorials for us being sold in the slave trade, still there. Right? Do you the quote? This is from the French. This is their quote. Ueda, Fida, Huida, Oida, Judah, or Judah. is an ancient city frequented in the 16th century by the Portuguese slave traders who gave it its name. Its inhabitants were said to be Judaic and were viewed as the remnant of the scattered tribes of Israel. So you got Yehuda, and you had Dahomey. You had the tribe of Dan, you had the tribe of Judah. Now we just read in Jeremiah 8 that this destruction came through Dan, right? To where? Judah, right? Again, read it again. The snorting of horses was heard from Dan, and the whole land trembled, and the sound of neighing of the strong ones, for they are come, and they will devour the land, and all that is in it, and those that dwell therein. Now check this out. This quote from his book. So we're never going to read quotes from that book, all right? By conquering enemy states in the interior, selling captives to Europeans as slaves, they also, this other kicker to that, when the tribe of Dan would capture us, capture people that was in Yehuda, or capture other people, they would sell us to the Europeans also. So Dan had a hand in selling us into slavery. All right? There we go. By conquering the enemy states in the interior and selling captives to the European as slaves, and quickly incorporating Western weapons into his army, the king of Dahomey destroyed the coastal rivals, monopolized the slave trade. In other words, took over the slave trade. In the section below, Snellgrave describes the regions of Dahomey as the interior slave trading state. So he turned his whole Dahomey became a slave trading capital and trading with the Europeans. Basically, they own people. Well, I mean, they were not the same tribe, but they own people. You understand what I'm saying? Engaged in what the historian Robin Law called slave trading in the mode of production. The king of Dahomey had success against his neighbors in a few years that he conquered towards the seacoast as far as the kingdom of Arada, which is the next country inland, adjoining to Ouida, which are Judah, and resolved them to be quiet for some time and settled in this conquest. I'm gonna do this real fast. Upon hearing that, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's read it. Let's read verse 8, chapter 8, verse 16 again. The snorting of his horses were heard from Dan. That means he heard that war is coming, right? The whole land trembled. I mean, they all got scared, right? And the sound of the neighing of his strong ones, for they are come, and they have devoured the land, and all that is in it, and those that dwell therein. Check this out. Upon hearing that Dahomey's war drums, the kingdom of Judah, or Wida, immediately fled his capital, with as many as people that were able to follow. They escaped by canoeing to an easily defensible river island, but at a great many of them could not have the same benefit. Being hurried by their own fears, they drowned in the rivers, and attempting to swim to the islands of the near Popo, whatever you pronounce that, which was a neighboring city and county to their own, the seacoast to the westward, and that they might have been secure from their enemies and had escaped. Moreover, many thousands of these people, of these poor people, that sheltered themselves up down by the county among the bushes, perished afterward by the sword and by famine. So what are we talking about? Just the exact same way that Jeremiah saw it back then, it happened again the exact same way. You understand what I'm saying? In West Africa. So the war that happened between Dan and Judah, which you can even say the Babylonians maybe even came through Dan to get to Judah. The exact same thing happened again. A war broke out between these two factions, and when they did, destruction happened, and then we ended up in slavery. Let's keep going. All right. While the Dahomey burned the city capital, both they and the local Europeans stood in amazement at the ease of the conquest. So why do you think it was so easy they were able to do this? Why do you think that when the tribe of Dan came in there, why was it so easy for them to destroy Judah and take their land?
Because of Europeans?
Because what? Because what the scripture says, what did we just read in the same early on in the verse in Jeremiah 8?
That we will be.
Say it again?
We'll be bones.
We'll be bones, right? We'll be dead. Why?
Worshiping other gods.
Worshiping other gods. So what we're about to get into is, at the time when Dahomey took over Judah, Judah was worshiping, not only were they worshiping idols, they were worshiping snakes. Yeah, I'm going to give you that in a second. So hold on. As both imperialists, Dahomean and European, commiserated on the ongoing destruction of Judah, race decidedly did not divide them for long. In other words, they sit there and figure out how in the world did we just take over Judah and just destroy it like we just destroyed it. So even they didn't even understand it. Like we just came through and wiped them out, right? And took them into slavery. In the exchanges between the Europeans and the Empire of Dahomey, we will see the union of slavery and empire in the process of military conquest and the institutional regulation conquer the foes' status of the slavery. So let's get to it. Here we go. So in order for you to understand how they got taken over so easy, you got to understand the next verse. Jeremiah 8, verse 17. For behold, I will send what?
Serpents.
And cockatrices among you, which shall not be charmed, and they shall bite you, saith Yah. Well, charm means that if you charm something, it's not going to hurt you, right?
Right.
So now this is prophetic. Okay, so don't mean that actual snakes, even though they had actual snakes, because I should have a picture. I can show you a picture of them all like painting from back then, from the early 1900s, and it's showing Judah, the city of Judah, and they all standing around with some snake doing some kind of ceremony, right? But check this out: the king of Judah, or Wadai, remain content to offer sacrifices to the gods. Didn't we just read that in Jeremiah? Counting the power of religion over arms. There's a constant tradition amongst them that whenever any calamity threatens their country, by imploring the snake's assistance, they're always delivered from it. However, they fell out formally. Remember, he said, Most High said, he's going to send snakes upon you. They're not going to be charmed. Whoever these people are, they're going to bite you. Right? Here we go. For they being in great numbers and a kind of domestic animal to all these snakes, because they was keeping all these snakes around because they worshiping these snakes. The conquerors found many of them in houses, which they treated in this manner. Check this out. They held them up by the middle and they spoke to them in this manner. If you are gods, if you are gods, speak and save yourselves, which the poor snakes are not able to do. The Dahomes, or the tribe of Dan, cut their heads off, ripped them open, and broiled them on the coals and ate them. So they was trusting in these snakes for deliverance. But these bad boys they were sent actual snakes among them, but I'm going to give you this too. Because if you studied the tribe of Dan, they did the same thing. So Judah and Dan both got into that snake worship and the snake cult and all that kind of stuff. Right? So the people who were worshiping the snake, conquered the people who was living by the snake.
That's a dope prophecy right there.
But that's the dope prophecy. But anyway, so we ain't got time to get into the rest of it. The rest of it, we'll get how it relates to Isaiah 25. We didn't even scratch the surface. But the first thing I was going to give you was that. I'm giving the first couple of verses of Jeremiah 18. So we didn't even finish the whole chapter. Right? Because we can read that and some more precepts in there. But what you're seeing is this. First of all, there ain't nothing new under the sun. Second of all, the conquering and the destruction of our people is tied into our belief. It's tied into our belief. That's why we got to be very, very careful. Being involved in other religions, other forms of worship, and all that kind of stuff. That don't mean run around being scared. I ain't talking about that. Some people want to be scared. Don't be scared of that. That ain't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. We read the scripture. The scripture talk about us being dry bones. We're dead because we're powerless. We're powerless because of the worship of the sun, moon, and stars. In other words, worship of other gods. When we worship other gods, we cut off from our Elohim. We cut off from our Elohim, and we powerless. If we powerless, we're good for nothing. Now, what did Mashiach say about salt when it's good for nothing?
It's thrown out.
And thrown out to be what?
Trampled on.
Trodden on. Trodden on by who?
The Gentiles.
By the Gentiles, or it's at the foot of man. That's what that means. By the Gentiles, by other nations, by Adamah, right? So what we seen with Judah was even the original Judah, the land of Judah. Calamity came to them for worshiping the sun, moon, and stars. Then they go back. They go into captivity, and even in captivity, that same curse followed them all the way to captivity, and then it happened again. You understand what I'm saying? Why? Because of constant disobedience. Now, if we go back and read Deuteronomy 28, it says that these curses are going to be for what? A sign and a wonder for you. It said they're going to pursue you. That means that no matter where you go, or no matter what time of in history it is, these curses are going to stick to you until you what? Be obedient. Why? Because Scripture says that whoever he loves, he chastises. So he's trying to whoop you, he's trying to get you waking up. Going back to what we said earlier about the Most High hardened Pharaoh's heart to make things worse on Israel so they'll wake up. So all this stuff you're seeing with, again, all these wicked stuff you see on television with Robo, all this other stuff, controversies, just listen to who they all claim to be Christians. Donald Trump. Donald Trump gets up this week in front of some other people. He's in Florida. He's somewhere in Florida, right? And he said the same thing. You know, he he goes, well, let me tell you something. You know, I'm trying to paraphrase. What did he say? He always got to give you the okay sign. You know, he part of Illuminati too. Anyway, so after he says that, he said something like, we don't worry about anything. You know, we worship God. You know, or whatever. Donald Trump claimed that he worshiped God. He claimed he in the exact same faith and religion you are in. This guy don't care two craps about you. Roy Moore claims to be a Christian. He don't care two craps about you. Any other person that's in any kind of office, they don't give two craps about you. And anytime something comes and it's affecting you, all of a sudden they on the opposite side. That should wake you up.
Should. Strong delusion.
Because we know the scripture says that what? God is not what? Or Elohim is not what? The respecter of persons. He deals everybody equally. He's righteous to everybody. That's why he calls himself what? The Elohim of justice and judgment. Matter of fact, he says a false balance. In other words, you do everything, you do all the stuff for them, and then don't do nothing for them, or hate these people, oppress these people, don't oppress them. Yeah. A false balance is an abomination. Yeah. That's what the scripture says. So you see these people that ever since you've known this religion, there ain't been nothing but a false balance. You understand what I'm saying? You in the fields, getting beaten, whipped by Christians. Right. You getting hanged and flogged by Christians. Right. You getting skinned alive by Christians. Right. You getting fed to alligators by Christians.
Yeah, y'all go to church together.
And go to church together. You understand? So saying to say, and I'm not just trying to dog Christians. What I'm trying to get, because again, when I say Christians, I'm talking about the faith. I'm not talking about the people. I ain't talking about the people. Because everybody that's in the faith don't believe the same thing. Everybody at the same place. And some people are coming out, they doing the best they can because that's all they know. Right. That ain't what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is the religion and the organization of that religion. They're destroying you, and they know they're destroying you. So until you come out of that, I know I ain't talking about y'all already know this. This is people that watch this online. But you know what I'm saying? Like, or I'm talking about like people who haven't seen us or follow us that might watch this online. So what we have to do is understand that we in covenant. When we know we in covenant, then we have a responsibility. When we have a responsibility, we feel that responsibility. If we feel that responsibility, then we can be delivered. And if we're not delivered, we're going to forever be dry bones, laying in the sun, never to be buried. That means without respect, without honor.
Because even when he sent, Elijah, and they threw Jezebel down and they trampled her with the horse feet, he said to bury her bones because she was a king's daughter. Yeah.
You're right. So even Jezebel get honored, y'all ain't here. Yeah. And I mean, really, I'll give you a better example. Yeah. There's people in this nation that care more about their dogs than care about y'all.
Oh, we know that. Yes, absolutely. Yes. It's like, have you ever seen Maya Angelou? Oh, I'm sorry. She did this video where, she went over to Africa and she was married to this African for a while, and she was trying to we just hit a dead wall every time somebody tries to get justice for the black people. And so they tried to get the African Council over there to get with them, and some other countries were for it to bring charges against America. Right. But the Africans wouldn't do it. They would not help them. They tried and they tried and they tried, because that would have been sort of what they saw as a breakthrough. And I looked at that and I said, well, you know what? Just Elohim has a time and a season for everything under the sun, because we have been trying to kick this wall down that is against us, and seem like every time we feel like we might be having a breakthrough, something happens.
Last thing I'll say to you, Ro. You ever read Revelation where you got two witnesses? And these two witnesses prophesy against the world, and the world hate them. And they die. Yes. And they do what? They die, right? And then what happened to their bodies?
They left there for 3 days.
They left, right?
Right there.
And then what we read in Jeremiah? Now people always, people got their different ways of thinking about that. Some people, they think it's certain prophets. For all we know, that could be prophets. Because it talks about how those two people are the two candlesticks and the two olive trees. Now, if you go to Zechariah, it talk about the two candlesticks and two olive trees, and tell you that was Israel and Judah. When you paraphrase, when you go study it, it's Israel and Judah. So that don't mean it might be an actual person. But you see the whole parallels of them being dead in the streets. Right now, when you get died, like black people, what are they known for? Dying in the streets.
That's right.
Right? So they lie dead in the streets of Jerusalem, meaning that when you dead, you got no power. You powerless.
Right.
They in your land, they got it occupied. They're trying it down. You can't do nothing. You under here struggling with people that got their foot on your neck. Because you refuse to obey the Most High. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Talk about the 3 days. Talk about laying dead and how parallel to Mashiach. And also resurrection and how that plays in, because there's gonna be a physical resurrection, and there's a spiritual resurrection that's happening right now with us, because they've been laying dead, and now we rising up. Ezekiel 38, bone coming to bone, sinews, they're coming together. All that could be in the second part of this teaching. And then with that, it's 8 o'clock, so we're gonna roll. I'm gonna say shalom to everybody online and shalom to everybody in the house.
Shalom.